Oh, but the internet's gonna have a field day with it.
Good. Good. My name is Tom.
What else you got to say? Good. Thanks, I needed that for the release.
Okay.
Free Bradley Manning! Arrest the real criminals! Free Bradley Manning! Arrest the real criminals! Free Bradley Manning! Arrest the real criminals! Free Bradley Manning!
For those of you who don't know why Bradley Manning is...
Let's hold it down for a second, guys.
For those of you who may not realize, the reason Bradley Manning is not wearing any clothes in this little cell is because that's how they are treating him. They are using nudity as a punitive measure, forced nudity as a punitive measure, in addition to making him in solitary confinement and no access to visitors and no access to exercise or the outdoors. They are forced nudity. He is not allowed to wear any clothes at night. In the morning he must report naked and stand to attention in front of his guards for morning inspection. This is forced nudity is a torture technique. The sleep deprivation is a torture technique. Denied access to exercise is a torture technique, and I thought our government was above that. Our government supposedly does not torture, but we know better. Not only do they torture their own people, they torture others. We have got to say no to this. Bradley Manning deserves a fair trial. This young man has not even gone to trial, but he has been in prison in solitary confinement for 300 days, people. That's almost 1 year. This young man has been in jail by himself, wandering 301, thank you, has been in jail 301 days by himself without access to the press, without access to his loved ones, and this is a travesty.
Without conviction!
Without conviction, he hasn't gone to trial. But you know what? He does hear. He does hear through his friend David House. He does know that we are out here supporting him. You know, when he was originally arrested, he was put in jail in Kuwait, and it was because of pressure from people like you and me and all of us who put pressure on the American government that brought him back to the United States so he could talk to a civilian lawyer. Now he's in Quantico. He's under the Marine Corps' supervision, and they are guilty now of torture. They are guilty now of punitive measures, but we have got to speak out. Just yesterday, three dozen people were arrested at Quantico, Virginia, protesting in support of Bradley Manning and the torturous conditions he's being held under. 35 people were arrested, including Daniel Ellsberg, who calls Bradley Manning a personal hero. Yes. Daniel Ellsberg, who leaked the Pentagon Papers and exposed the war lies of Vietnam, calls Bradley Manning a hero. Bradley Manning is a hero to me, and I am Bradley Manning.
Yes.
You are Bradley Manning.
We are Bradley Manning.
I am Bradley.
You are Bradley. We are Bradley Manning.
I am Bradley.
You are Bradley.
We are Bradley Manning. I am Bradley.
You are Bradley.
We are Bradley Manning. I am Bradley.
You are Bradley.
We are Bradley Manning.
I am Bradley. You are Bradley. We are Bradley Manning. I am Bradley. You are Bradley. We are Bradley Manning. I am Bradley. You are Bradley. We are Bradley Manning. I am Bradley.
You are Bradley.
We are Bradley Manning. I am Bradley. You are Bradley. We are Bradley Manning. I am Bradley. You are Bradley. We are Bradley Manning.
Who else has a criminal we need to make a sign for?
General Petraeus!
General Petraeus! Absolutely! General Petraeus, who has a sign that we can make for General Petraeus? Who else?
Every officer not fighting back!
Congress!
Yeah!
Congress! Who else?
BP!
BP! British Petroleum!
Lockheed Martin Mariana.
Goldman Sachs!
MIC for short.
Rumsfeld!
I was
Albert!
listening to
The Koch brothers! How about
Brothers!
Scott Walker? Anybody
Scott
think speak out. Those are criminals. The people who don't report the crimes, those are the criminals. Bradley Manning did his duty. Bradley Manning did his duty as a soldier and as a citizen to report heinous crimes against humanity. And he is being punished. His life is on the line. He has been charged with offenses now that could give him the death sentence. Now, let me ask you, when you were 20, some of you aren't quite 22 years old, but when you were 22 years old, can you imagine sacrificing your life for the good of humanity, for the truth? Can you imagine being that responsible, being that conscientious? I can't. You know, I can't imagine what it takes to do that, to give up your freedom for no gain to himself, no monetary gain.
Tell the American people, brother.
He knew this was not just a career ender, this was,
You're standing on the wrong side of the street!
Bradley Manning is
all
not a
of you.
criminal. He needs to be released. Bradley Manning is a truth teller, and the truth is not illegal. What the Congress needs to be investigating are the crimes depicted on the information that was leaked to WikiLeaks. And you know what? We don't even know for sure Bradley Manning leaked those things. He hasn't had a trial. It hasn't been proven. He's being punished ahead of time. But I would
No
tell you, if he
conviction!
is guilty,
Solitary
then he is a
confinement!
hero of mine. Bradley Manning is a hero for telling the truth. Bradley Manning got involved when he didn't have to. Bradley Manning put himself out there for no purpose gain. How many of us would really be willing to do that? We are out here one day, speak up for him, and risk our liberty. We may get arrested here, I don't know. But one day to stand up for Bradley Manning.
We actually had one. We actually made one.
Life on the line, which is the least we can do. And I want everybody here, you have one of those handouts. On the back of those handouts are websites and addresses where you can write to him and show him you support him. He does get the mail eventually. It goes through several channels and has to be sanitized. But he does get it, and he knows you support him and you love him and you care about him. He does get that word, and we've got to stay out in the focus of the American public. We've got to get on the news. We've got to let people know that this young man is being persecuted by our government by telling the truth. By telling the truth. The Nuremberg trials said, yes, the Nuremberg principles say that following orders is not justification for committing war crimes. So not only did Bradley Manning not obey an order, but he's shown the light on the people that were disobeying humanitarian law. You know, how many people here have seen the collateral murder video? Have you seen the collateral murder video?
So that's our
The collateral murder video. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it because this is the primary video that he is being charged with leaking. Google collateral murder. Collateral murder video shows 11 civilians being slaughtered, being massacred by Apache helicopters in July of 2007, including 2 reporters from Reuters. 2 children were seriously wounded, and these people were not insurgents. They were not combatants. They were innocent civilians that were going about their business. The children were in a van, a rescue van, that came to try to help the people who had been murdered, and the van was attacked. The whole action, everything on the collateral murders video violates the very rules of engagement that the Army purports to follow. The Army has rules, and if you can have such a thing as rules of engagement for war, but rules are that you have to identify the enemy and be sure that he is an enemy before you attack. That's one thing, positive identification. Number 2, you have to use escalating degrees of force. You're not supposed to use lethal force immediately, but you're supposed to give warning shots and these kinds of things. They didn't do that. Then, once you have wounded somebody, you are not supposed to keep inflicting pain. You're supposed to provide medical care. They did not do that. In fact, they ran over the bodies with their vehicles and laughed about it. It's a horrifying case. You have to watch it. It's the truth. It's the truth. It's for the Americans to called collateral murder. Collateral murder.
I bet you do. That was a I watched it. We had to take
military said that it was completely justified. The killing of 11 people was completely justified. They were That's right.
We need to know what our government is doing in our name.
We have a right to the truth. We have a right to the truth. We have a right to the truth. We have a right to the truth.
We have a right to the truth. We have a right to the truth.
Who are you and what are you photographing?
We have a right to the truth.
I got your picture.
We have a right to the truth. We have a right to the truth.
Are you still mad at me?
We have got to see this right now. I talked to some of these
Jill, it's really laughable that they brought Homeland Security out.
This is their little zone, so.
Jill, it makes it look like we're the real bad guys. But bring out Homeland Security.
I think people are going to see through it.
Jill, look at that airhead, a yuppie girl. She gives all that big stupid look. It's your money they're spending on this.
We're all in this together, man.
Stay alive. And you know, it's reprehensible as they
Joe, I know the woman was giving the real word stare, driving by, said it's your money they're spending on this.
It is.
But I talked
It is.
to one of the young men who was there, and he said,
Joe, these stupid foreign people, they have so brain dead.
that is the way we cope. And I see a veteran here. We cannot live with ourselves if we don't turn around. After the children are identified as the name of God, this one, the soldier says, well, let's take it and bring the kids to a